All right, let me get myself on the screen. Good morning, Team Harcourts South Africa, and good morning, Alison, there in Christchurch in New Zealand. I hope that you're all very, very well on this Wednesday morning. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in this chat with Alison Aitken, Harcourts Hall of Fame inductee, just to talk about resilience and perseverance and success in real estate, success in this industry. Obviously, we find ourselves into level 4 of lockdown, and we wanted to chat to Alison this morning just to get some inspiration and some insight into her almost 30 years in this industry. Alison, good morning. Are you well this morning?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Hello to everybody in South Africa that is watching. I really appreciate you doing this today. Thank you.
Awesome.
It was lovely to get your call.
Thank you, Alison. Thank you. We are so privileged, so privileged to have the opportunity to speak to you today. Wow, you are such an inspiration, and we've heard so much about you. And like you said to me the other day, hopefully you can make it to South Africa sometime in the not too distant future, and we can actually meet you in person. But I'm sure that you have met quite a few of our South African team that might have visited Christchurch. I'm not too sure, that have come to Harcourts Grenadier. But it's lovely to have you in our Zoom chat today. So thank you very, very much for your time. Guys, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Alison. For those that did not see that previous slide, Alison Aitken is synonymous with success in real estate. She is consistently Harcourts' highest achieving sales consultant in New Zealand. Since starting her career in 1991, she has produced outstanding results in real estate sales. After successfully holding the position of #1 female salesperson for Harcourts for several years, she rapidly climbed to the success charts and held the coveted title of #1 salesperson for Harcourts in Christchurch for 13 consecutive years, and was #1 salesperson nationally between 1999 and 2003 and in 2011 and 2012. Alison's achievements are the result of passion for the business, hard work, and a deep understanding of the industry and the wants and needs of the many individual clients she deals with. And then as we saw, Harcourts Hall of Fame inductee, and you were the International Sales Consultant of the Year, I also believe, twice. That is just phenomenal. Incredible sales, and $1 billion in registered business.
Not bad when you add it up like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a lot of houses. Yeah.
That's a lot of houses. There's no question about that. My goodness. Now, Alison, it's mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing. We are so thrilled to chat to you. So I wanted to start by getting a little bit of an understanding of who is Alison Aitken. What do you enjoy doing? Tell us a little bit about your family. What do you enjoy doing outside of real estate, just to get away from the business? Give us a little bit more insight into who Alison Aitken is.
Okay. All right. Alison Aitken was born and bred in Christchurch, New Zealand. So I had spent really all my life here. I went away overseas when I was working at the ANZ Bank until I was about, 18, 19 years of age. And my sister and her boyfriend won lotto, or was golden kiwi in those days. So they won $500,000. So
wow.
I went overseas. Yeah. So I went overseas and travelled with them. Did the old, met lots of South Africans, lots of Yappies on our travels. And we had a wonderful time traveling around Europe for a few months. So anyway, long story short, I spent a couple of years over there, worked in Austria for about a year on a ski field. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty amazing. And then came back to New Zealand. But I'm from a family of, 5 children in the family. My dad was a plumber, had his own business. We lived on, I always said, I didn't think it was at the time, but, we lived on the wrong side of the tracks. I mean, we lived a very simple life. We went to normal public schools. There was certainly no silver spoons or anything for us. And then I left school at the age of 16.
Okay.
And went straight into, I decided I wanted to do a diploma of agriculture. So I went and worked on a farm for a year, milking cows.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so after that, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. And that's when I went back to Christchurch and worked in the bank. And, then I did the overseas thing. So, yeah, sort of a few different jobs at that time. Then came back to New Zealand. When I came back, I ended up in the hospitality industry. And then when I met my first husband, we're not married now, but I ended up after working in hospitality, I ended up having my own antique shop, believe it or not.
Antique
so
shop.
I think that's where my antique shop.
Yeah.
So that's where I think my selling skills started and my negotiation skills started. And I had that for about 5 years, and until my second child was born. And then I ended up, selling that business and looking after the children, a little bit more. But my children now are the age of 36 and 34. And they both are in Christchurch. I say one of them works with me, Gemma works with me, and I have 4 grandchildren, and the youngest being 8 months old, and the oldest being 13 years old. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky that all my family's in Christchurch. It's pretty cool.
That is very special.
I'm just a normal girl. I'm just a normal girl that wasn't giving. Well, maybe I was a bit spoiled because I was the youngest of 5, and I got a horse, and no one else did. But yeah, I probably was the spoiled one because there was more money left when the other children left home. But certainly where I've got, it's just been hard work, really. Just a normal person that's just worked hard. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful to hear your journey and your story, and going through those different phases until the point where you found real estate and you can really live your passion in connecting, serving people, etc. Thank you for that little bit of insight into your life and your beautiful family with your kids and your grandchildren. That's wonderful. So I can imagine you enjoy spending quality time with your kids and your grandchildren, and you see each other quite often.
Yeah, we do. I see them a lot. It's been a bit harder, of course, than what we in the lockdown and things. But yeah, I see them a lot. I mean, I'm a busy grandmother. It was probably times that I'd like to have spent more time with children, but I think they all get plenty from me. And I think and I like being busy. I think what the lockdown has made me realise, I actually not ready to retire yet. It's given as much as I've loved the time and I love the opportunity it gave us all. I don't think I could just not do what I do now. And just having a couple of weeks back, I realised how much I still love my job. So I think we're pretty lucky in the industry, really.
Yeah. Awesome. Alison, what I'm also intrigued by is in 2011, Christchurch was hit by the earthquakes. And we just saw on the media the terrible, devastating effects that the earthquakes had on Christchurch and the region. Won't you please share with us what impact that had on your local economy, the housing market, the real estate industry, and how you, as a real estate professional in that time, and also almost coupled with the global recession at that point, the global meltdown, how you actually navigated yourself and your business through those very, very difficult times, and maybe a few lessons that you learned from that?
I mean, when we had the first earthquake, which was the 2010 earthquake in Christchurch, and that was bad, but it didn't cause any deaths, and it wasn't, it was a minor compared to what happened in February. But I mean, that was pretty huge. I mean, we're talking about human life here. We're talking about a whole city being ripped apart, So, we had a really nice building in town. I've always worked in the city, and we had a multi-level building where we worked out of. So when we left that building, That building actually stood up. It actually did come down in the June earthquake and actually pancaked. So luckily it didn't happen when we were in there in February. But, you know, when we left that, we left all our files, our computers, you know, all our stuff was in that, how we operated was in that building. And, you know, really I thought when that happened, would we ever sell another house in Christchurch? You know, and I thought, well, oh my God, I'm going to have to get a new job. You know, who's ever going to buy a house here? But we did navigate our way through that. And it took, I mean, I worked in, a lot of people work from home, but I needed to work from an office. So I went into one of our local offices in the suburbs, which was quite different for me, but it gave me a base, and my team all managed to huddle into a little office. But after time, you know, I'd say it would be, we started making some sales, and after time, it probably took a couple of months to start to get some traction again. I think the year of the earthquake was that May. I think that was when I did get #1 internationally. So it just shows you what you can do in all sorts of different times. But the one thing about the earthquake, you've got to remember that a lot of people were, it wasn't like the virus where, you know, they lost jobs and things. They had money, they had insurance, you know, and people were uninsured. Our government were very good with EQC. So there was a lot of earthquake money, you know, that people were being paid out. So, you know, we were moving people from one area to another area, you know, from suburbs they would have never normally gone to, because those areas were wiped out. You know, they called them red zone areas that you couldn't live in anymore because of the high liquefaction and things. So we learned so much about being engineering, about you know, just stuff that we would never have known. We became more experts than solicitors and engineers, I'm sure, in that time. But it was an amazing time, you know, and it was tough to start with, but we got through it. I remember when the June earthquake came, which was another big earthquake.
Was that June in 2011?
Yeah, June was 2011, and we were all back at work and all of those things. But it was like, we always said if there was one more, we're out of Christchurch, because so many people left Christchurch. They went and lived in Queenstown and Wallaka and Auckland. They thought, you know, they were just scared and they wanted to go. And I think I was ready to go at that time. But, you know, and I think, and it's what's going to happen out of this virus, and this is what I'm finding that's happening to me right now, is when things are tough, they come to the good companies to sell, okay? Because anybody can sell in a good market. So, and you had to have some experience to sell these properties because there was so much complications with these earthquakes. So we had to get insurance. Like once upon a time, you would have bought a house and then you had, you didn't have to get insurance until the day before you settled. Here, we had to get insurance. So we had to go through so many dramas to get insurance. So nothing was easy, but we did navigate our way through it, and we got people into houses, and you know, we worked on settlements, or people, you know, over the years people's houses haven't been insured properly, or people fixed properly, or people were underinsured. But as agents, we take all this on personally, and you know, sometimes it's just, we still now, you know, I go and list a house today, I still have this much paperwork of all the EQC stuff that's been done, you know, and we still get all the questions. And so this goes on and on. How many years is this going to go on for? I don't know. It's probably going to go on it feels like it's going to go on forever. But I mean, you do work your way through it. And, you know, just being back here in the office in level 3 for a couple of weeks, you know, I know I'm going to be I knew I was going to be busy anyway, but I'm listing properties that people had gone to other companies for and now want something to happen. So they're ringing me, you know, people who, you know, lovely lady I met today who went to another company, Ray White actually, after the Christmas period, and she said, I mucked up. I said, it's okay. You know, I told her what to do. I told her what she needed to do with the building because it was of its construction, and she had to have building reports. She said, I didn't do any of the things I said you were said to do, Ali. I said, that's okay. I'm here now. We're going to sort you out, you know? So it's a thing when you get you miss out on business. You never shut the door, because they will need you, you know. And I never get upset about it. It's like, that's okay, you've made that choice, and at that time it was the right choice for her, but it clearly didn't work out, so we're here to help. So I think agents who have got a good, especially good companies like Harcourts, good reputations, there are people that are going to need you after this lockdown. And there'll be people for all sorts of reasons, as I said on that webinar, because, you know, and I'm finding now, hey, there's people who have got investments in Christchurch who need to sell them. They might be in Queenstown and they're lost, you know, they're in the tourism business, okay? There's people here that we've found have gone to know that they can work from home, you know, because they've been doing that for a while, and they think, we can do this, let's buy a bigger house, okay? There are people that decided our interest rates are so damn good and they've got nothing else to spend their money on anymore because there's no holidays, that they'll now buy an investment property. So there's been lots of activity, which I'm really, really excited about, because you just don't know what's going to happen when you come out of these situations.
Yeah.
You know, and you are in that level 4 at the moment, and you'll be going through the concerns that I had, but there is life out there, you know. And there will be some people that will be really suffering, and maybe been in the tourism industry or been in the airline industry or whatever, but for one reason or another, they will need to sell their house, or they'll need to buy another house. And we're just here to help them, and as you say, navigate their way through them. And there might be some people that lose some money in houses that they've bought, but don't take that personally. It's just what's going to happen to them. It's like in the earthquake, you know, there were some people, there were some winners, and there were some people that were losers, but we were there just to pick up the pieces and do the best we could possibly do for them and market their property the best way possible. And I think that's when they need a good agent to add value to what we do, you know. So, yeah, I think you can take confidence in what's happening in New Zealand, that I don't really know the South African market, but I think people will have gone and lived in the provinces in New Zealand in the last few years, and things have been doing really well, will come back to the bigger cities to work, because this is where the jobs will be, you know. There is going to be, you know, there will be unemployment, and they're going to be at Christchurch, they're going to need to be in the bigger cities to get work. Yeah.
Right. Sure. No, it's inspiring to hear how you have navigated yourself through these really, really challenging times in your real estate career since 1991, because I know that you have been through quite a few really difficult times as this industry. We know as the industry, the nature of the industry and the economy, the global economy is up and down, and really well done on your perseverance and your tenure to keep going and keep pushing forward, and just being, like you said, being available to help people, to serve people. We can see that you are such a people's person, and I can imagine how your clients just love you and love working with you, and really take a lot of trust in you and the advice that you give them. Oh, right. Another question that sorry, did you want to add something?
No, absolutely, that's fine. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, so just one last comment on that. What you said is, listening to what you said, how you became experts in things that you actually had no previous knowledge of, really, in that time of the earthquakes, and now also in this lockdown period. So there's always the silver lining, or the opportunities that come with these really challenging times. And I see that also now in the lockdown period, where we are upskilling ourselves and focusing on certain things that we might not have done if it wasn't for the lockdown. So we just got to grab on those opportunities also, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we've all probably upskilled ourselves. I mean, I've listened to different agents talking on webinars, and, you know, in Australia and New Zealand over the lockdown period, and it's things that, you know, people say, oh, you don't need to do any more training, you know it all. And I go, well, actually I don't. And sometimes you need to have it reinforced. I knew that the simple things. And someone else says, and you go, okay, maybe I should look at that differently or do that differently. So I don't think we ever know everything, you know. And you know, I know that I can go and go for a listing, and I miss that listing, and I go, what could I have done better? I actually did stuff that up. I wasn't
Really?
that well prepared.
My.
Or I thought I was going to get it, you know. And there would have been an old client or something. I thought, I'm just bolting in here. And I walked out, I thought, I didn't get that. I wasn't prepared enough. So, hey, we all miss out on things. And we can just look at it and go back, and I'll talk to my team and say, what could I have done better? I think you know, and it's just learning. So even after this many years in real estate and the credibility I have, it doesn't mean that you're going to get all the business, you know. And I'm also sometimes I'm competing against not so much other companies. Often it might be someone in Harcourts itself. So, you know, and that's annoying. But you know, everyone chooses people for different reasons. And we don't always, and I say to people, look, you know, why did you call me? Or, and often if it's a referral, I know that you're pretty well, you know, you've got a good foot in the door. Or if it's repeat business, you're normally there, you know, but often they have a friend or a relative, don't they? You know, that's also been referred. So never take it for granted. You know, I do normally go in there reasonably well prepared before I turn up anywhere. You know, so it's all learning every day. There's so much to learn, you know. Never stop learning.
Thank you so much for mentioning that and emphasizing that. That's so true. And it's amazing to hear from a person like you that has been so incredibly successful to actually acknowledge the fact that you sometimes go in not as prepared as you should, and that you never stop learning. We really appreciate that. That's very good to hear, because that's also our reality, and it's even good to hear that people like yourself also experience that. I'm interested to know. Yeah, I'm listening, Alison. Sorry.
I said, you know, you will get disappointed from time to time. And I get really pissed off for about a day and a half, and then I get over it.
Yeah, I love it. So what does a typical day look like in the work life of Alison Aitken?
I'm not one of these 6 o'clock in the morning people, so you'd be pleased to know it's not me. Hey, look, if it was normal times, you know, my day, I always would try and I'm quite into yoga. So yoga, Pilates, you know, in the lockdown, lots of walking. I mean, I used to do crazy amounts of triathlons and, you know, things like that. But these days it's more, you know, the easier type of exercise. But I can't say I'm incredibly well structured with checklists and to-do lists and those sort of things. But my day, I never know what's going to happen in my day. I will always have there'll be appointments in my day, okay? And there might be an appraisal, they might be a viewing. But like today, I've been dealing with, what have I done today? God, what have I done? I came to work, so that was the start. I don't know, where was my day gone? I think I came in and did a Zoom meeting with my team at about 9 o'clock, because they're not wanting everyone to be in the office at the moment. So I did that. I had an appraisal, a listing to do. Then I've been working on 2 offers today. I have been, what else have I done? I think I've got another listing I've done. Oh my God, my day you know what I love about this job? You never know what's going to flipping happen. People have rung, you know, to do an appointment, to do an appraisal. I'm trying to get, you know, I'm always on my phones to my owners or my current, you know, auction campaigns. I don't know. I don't have this routine where it's the same every day.
It's not like a typical.
No, and look, if I'm still working, you know, I'm not one of those ones to work to, you know, 10 o'clock at night. I like when I'm busy, I get everything done in a normal time when we can get people into the office. I'll get clients coming into the office a lot, so I can get the paperwork done in here. But, you know, I'm really structured on not wasting time. I won't stand around gossiping at work all day, but when I'm busy, I'm busy. When I've had enough, I'm ready to go home, I'll go home. You know, my husband is an auctioneer, and Phil does a lot of training, not only for Harcourts, but for other commercial real estate company. So, you know, and it is, when you get home, it is hard to, you know, you need to have a break from real estate. But, you know, yeah, I'm probably not the best one to talk to about real structure of to-do lists, but I do get a lot done. Don't know how, but I do.
Awesome. What I really do take from what you're saying is that when you work with real focus, and you're really applying yourself, and you're making sure that you just optimize, you work full speed.
And when I go into a listing, you know, if it's an hour or whatever, I'm there, I've got the paperwork done. I know that I can, you know, as I say to these owners, you've got me now. You'll see me in a few weeks' time when we go to the market. It'll go back to my office. All that administration will be done by my girls, okay? And, you know, we have, as I say, because of earthquake, we have a lot of paperwork and a lot of additional stuff we have to deal with, but which could take you hours. And if I was doing all that myself, I would be working to 10 o'clock every night, but I just probably work pretty smart. And I think even when I'm on the phone, I don't talk a long time. I know what I want to say. They know what I want to say, and we just get it done. I don't talk about nothing, you know. I make a lot of phone calls in a day, and I have a lot, you know, I have a lot of conversations, but I don't talk for hours on the phone about nothing. It's normally just getting it done. Friendly, but just getting it done. Yeah.
That is really important what you said there about speaking to your clients. I think that if I can just maybe jump in with my opinion on that, I think we can so easily hide behind technology these days, isn't it? Behind just sending a text message or sending an email and shying away from having the conversation. But what I hear from you is that you're speaking to your clients. You have a quick, productive conversation. And so you get a lot of work done on the phone and having a lot of conversations, and that's massive. That's massive. I think that has really taken a backseat, the telephone conversations in our industry over the past few years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if we get email inquiries that everybody wants to give you, don't they? You know, if there's a number there, I'll ask for. If they haven't got one, I'll ask for one. You know, the time I ask my PA or someone else for me to send an email, I would just, with half the things I can deal with, especially if I'm dealing with an owner who keeps emailing, and they don't get it. You know, all you want to answer something, just pick up the phone, because I can deal with them in about a minute. You know, it's just old-fashioned. And I probably am old-fashioned. I've still got my old hardcover diary, you know, my leather diary. But, you know, it's the way I like to work, you know, and they actually like talking to you, you know. You can do so much more when you talk to people on the phone, but I know a lot of the young ones will just want to hide behind the emails all the time. And they say, oh, what's happened if they haven't replied? I haven't heard back from them. I said, well, have you rung them? Oh, really? I said, you know, phone, ring them. Got it. Give me strength. Yeah. But that is just, you know, and I want things to happen. And even when people send me a message, so I'll ring them straight back. If I'm not on an appointment, I said, oh, no wonder you're good at the business. You replied to us so quickly. I said, look, if I don't ring you back, I'm going to forget, you know. Really? Yeah. So it's just get it done. You know, I said to an agent yesterday, I think I asked him in the morning to ring me back, and it was 8 o'clock at night, and I said, oh, look, don't bother. Too late. I've moved on, you know.
Really? Wow.
And so it is. I think the good agents you'll find will always get back to people really quickly. Okay.
Critical.
So I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's just simple.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. Alison Aitken and Associates, please tell us a little bit about your team, what your role is in the team, Alison, and what advice you would give an experienced real estate professional that is currently working solo, that's been working solo for some time. We call it, let's say in South Africa, a full status agent, but that is looking to expand their team.
Okay. I think when I started out, we're going back a few, a wee way now, I probably was only on my, working solely for a few months. I mean, previous to that, I had been a PA to my husband for about, I don't know, 18 months or something. So I worked out pretty early on, I probably in those days might have had, 10 listings. And for me to be able to double the amount of stock that I had and look after them well, I needed to get a PA on. So I got a friend of mine actually came to work for me, and she worked part-time. And then it got to a stage, she said, you need someone else. You need someone full-time. So I see a lot of consultants in my own office. There's probably only, and I'm in a big office situation, there's probably only 1, 2, maybe 4 of us that have full-time PAs. But I think, and some of them will share a PA, but a lot of them think that they can get a PA that can also be a buyer's agent. They can sort of, that will help their costs. But I think if you're serious about this business, you have to employ someone who's a total going to be your office manager. Okay, Angela, who has worked for me for about 15 years, she runs my office. She is the office manager. Everyone thinks I'm the boss. I think she is the boss. But you've got to have someone that knows more. I'm not very good at technology, marketing. You've got to have someone who's great with people, who want to talk to you more than they want talk to her, more than they want to talk to me, clients. You've got to, and if you want to build your business and get serious about it, you've got to get yourself a full-time PA. And then you can bring in, I don't know how it works in South Africa, but, because we've got quite strong, a big market share in Christchurch, it's easy for a buyer's agent to go and sell those properties and make a reasonable good living out of it. All right. So
can I just interrupt you there for a second? So you would bring in the listing, you would list the property, and your buyer's agent would take that listing then and run with buyers and sell the property. Is that what you're saying?
No. If I list a property, I would, if it was me, if I listed it, or I listed it with Gemma or Pauline or my team, I might do a joint listing with them. If we would run the campaign. Well, if I listed something with Pauline, she would probably run most of the campaign. All right, it would have my name on it. We would do all our administration, the ads and that, but she would really be looking after it most of the time. With my buyer's agents, I would give them buyers from campaigns or people that are ringing me all the time looking for houses that I would pass on to them. So they would deal with say if I just finished a campaign, an auction campaign, and you have all these people that have been through, I give them the register, and they will follow up for listing leads and for buying. All right. Mm-hmm. I work buyers from time to time, because I quite enjoy it, and some people just want to deal with me, so that's good. I've got them all well trained, so it's no drama. I think it's quite fun. But I have myself, I have my 2 full-time PAs, I have my nephew that works with me, I have my daughter Gemma that works with me, and I have Pauline that works with me, and a wee girl called Hebe. So young girl called Hebe. So yeah, it sounds like a big team, but they're all independent, people that don't need their hand held.
Sure.
They've all got their different skills. Yeah.
Okay. So just to rephrase or to recap, what you would be encouraging an agent is if they're really serious about the business and they want to increase their business, take on more listings, being able to serve more clients, then a PA would be the first step to train up that PA, having the right person in your business, and then it could even be a second PA then, or then adding a buyer's agent, and so build your team.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the successful agents in, Christchurch, Cameron Bardi, for an example, he would have 2 full-time PAs, okay? And Cameron would do no administration. He's listing and selling real estate. That's his job, all right? Mary Turnbull, who's a really good consultant, I have a lot of respect for, she would have, I'm pretty sure she's got 1 full-time PA. She may have another person part-time, I'm not sure. But there again, she's running a big volume of listings, and she could not do that and do as well as she does without it. And then she has a team of people. She'll have a few agents around her working in her team too. But I mean, everybody's different. But for me, I just know when I go to bed at night, I don't have to worry about anything, any paperwork, any contracts, any detail, that they've all been, looked after. We have the occasional mistake, but not many. And there's nothing worse than having a mistake, because once I find you have a mistake on a listing, I end up with about 4 mistakes on the same listing. But no, I think you just need when you get someone, it's got to be really detailed. It's not about their age, it's about how they're going to, what they can add to your business. Okay.
Yep.
So here's a funny story. That was my mother-in-law trying to call me. My mother-in-law is 90, my ex-mother-in-law is 90 years of age, okay? She still looks after some of our properties. She's our property manager for some of our properties.
No
She's
kidding.
a pretty zany lady, and she is 90, and she'll be ringing me about some property. But I thought, if I end up like her, I would be pretty bloody happy. And my mum is 90, and my mum's in a retirement home, and I just think, oh my God, they're so different. They're so different. But anyway, 90 years of age, she's still a property manager. How is that?
That is incredible. That's unbelievable. I have not heard of that.
I actually said to my, she needs a bloody story about her in the paper, I think, but she's a flipping hoot. I love her. But there you go. So it's not about the age and what we do. It's just about loving it and doing what you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, listening to what you're saying, it also makes me think of the burnout that we can experience after quite a number of years in this industry, because it's so go, 7 days a week. You have to be available to your clients 24/7. And what you said about when you go to bed at night, you don't have a worry about the admin because you have people in your business that take care of that. So you can spend quality time with your hubby and, with your kids. And that obviously says a lot. So I think that having the quality of life and finding that balance between work and life, we gotta design or engineer our business in such a way where we have the help and we have people in our business that can take care of the admin or other parts of the business.
Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, everyone says, I don't think I've ever burned out, which is unusual for an agent at my level, and that's because I've had those backup people. I mean, look, to be honest, real estate isn't my whole life, and I think women are better than this than men. There's other things that go on, and even when the kids were younger, we're running here with the kids will be at school. We could do lots of things. We can multitask, but it hasn't. I mean, I have a life out of real estate, and that's what people have got to remember. If you don't want to work on a Saturday, just don't go and work on a Saturday. You've got to have a day off, I mean, I had great holidays. I mean, at Christmas, I would spend, I would probably have 5 weeks off over that, December, January period.
Wow.
Maybe when you get to, 5 weeks in Europe, in the days we used to go to Europe. I mean, I was supposed to be going on a yoga retreat to Bali on the week of the lockdown. So I have good holidays. So when I holiday, I holiday. When I work, I work. But there's not my whole life. There's life outside real estate, And when I socialise, it's probably not with people in real estate, you know, because there is other things to do.
Sure.
I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great to hear. Thank you for those wise words. I love it, because that will help us not to burn out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alison, maybe a few final words of encouragement to our South African team, that, as you have mentioned earlier and as we've spoken, we find ourselves in level 4 of lockdown now. We're frustrated. We want to get out. We want to do the things. Could you leave us with a few maybe final words of encouragement? You have encouraged us already so much, you know, but
yeah. How many weeks have you been in lockdown?
I think today will be day 47. And if I say lockdown, we were in like high level lockdown for 5 weeks, and we have come into level 4 now, probably for the past 12 odd days. So if things are starting to lift slightly, we can move around a little bit more. We can do exercise in the morning between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. But as far as work goes, and as far as our profession goes, we are still, our hands are still very much tied.
Okay. Well, as I said to you, we go into level. We can go into level. We're on level. Well, what we call lockdown was level 4. Level 3 is where they were easing restrictions a bit, you know, where we could start doing appointments and appraisals under high, you know, strict rules. And then we can now start doing auctions in rooms, but we can't have more than 10 people in a room at a time. And we can start doing open homes from this weekend. So things are getting a little bit better here. I mean, hopefully we've got this virus beat in New Zealand. Definitely in the South Island we have anyway. So it would be nice to think we have. I think, look, just go out there really positive. I think I was a little bit, you know, like all of you, I was really worried. Everyone said, what do you think the market's going to be like? And I had no idea. And I still really don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. But what I'm saying to people at the moment is, you know, when they say, what do you think we should do? Do you think we should sell now? I say, I honestly think you should sell now, because I think the effect of this on people is probably going to be, if it's going to affect, it might be more in 6 months. You might have more opportunities now. And when they say, you know, I'm with some people the other day who are, their daughter's looking at a house and first home buyers, and the mother is saying to me, oh, I think the market's going to come back. And I said, clearly I don't think so, because there's been so many multi offers in the last 2 weeks on properties. Interest rates the lowest they've ever been, under 3% in New Zealand. I said, do not sit back and wait, because, you know, it's not. She's not going to get anything cheaper. You know, there are properties that are going to be affected, but look, just go back in there, be positive. People will want your advice. They will want your help. And, you know, and you need to ask them when you're selling their house, you know, what is their motivation? You know, I spoke to some people today. Here's an example. He had quite a few auctions before the lockdown that we pulled because of, you know, because of the lockdown. And some of them we've put back to auction because it was driving us nuts trying to get commitment out of people. And we honestly don't know where the market is. It may not be worth as much as it was prior, but we'll find out. And we will find out hopefully with a cash and unconditional buyer instead of someone who's going to be subject to everything. But, you know, you've got to, you know, we don't know where it's going to be. But this particular property I'm auctioning in a couple of weeks' time, I had the conversation with him today, and this is a fault that we all don't ask us enough. And I know they'd had an offer on their house pre-me with another real estate company for 1.1 million, and he scoffed at that figure. Okay, he had a registered valuation on his house for 1.4 million, which is crazy. And I said to him today, if you had that offer again now, and this is, you know, this is like why people change in COVID, don't they? What's happened? I said, what would you do? He said, oh, we wouldn't take any less. I went, oh, shit. Okay, you know, so they have moved this much in that time frame of, you know, of the lockdown, and where their reality is now. So of course you've got to ask those questions all the time now, because, you know, here I'm over quoting something where I should be way back here. and their whole circumstances have changed. So it's just a lesson for me that I should have asked this, you know, you're probably a bit wary of asking him, but I should have asked that 2 weeks ago, you know, because I don't want to miss an opportunity. Because so you've got to see where they are, because I think a lot of them are going to be so much more realistic now than they were before.
Yeah.
And there will still be a premium out there, but we all know that there's going to be some difficult times for people. But you know, in New Zealand, people all still want to buy their own houses. You know, they don't all want to be renting houses, and it's a thing we've always done in New Zealand and probably in South Africa, where we've liked to own our own house. But you're there to help people get through this, all right? That's your job. Don't take it personally if they're going to lose money or whatever. That's not your job. It's to help them move on. Yep. And as I say to people, buy and sell in the same market, regardless. So once you know, got cash in your pocket, you can go out there and buy well, you know. But it's just like all the old scripts that we used to have in all different markets. You just pull out the old scripts you used to have. Sure. And we've got heaps of them on the wall, you know. I tell you what, one of my girls, Pauline, that works for me, who's been in the business about 35 years, this basically sums up what she says. This is what she's like, because she's really down to earth, you know, and she's good at swear words too. But she, you know, she says to people, she says, do what you say, okay, you're going to do. So do what you say you were going to do, okay? So no bullshit, all right? Honesty is the best policy. So just be honest with people, okay? Hard work never killed anybody, okay? If you don't know, say so, then find out really quickly, okay? And then just pick up the bloody phone and call them, all right? So I think if you go off with that, if you do that, you'll be really successful.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. Awesome. Now, we needed to hear that. Thank you. Sure, I can't add anything to that. It's really just about connecting with people and making ourselves available, and
making yourself available, you know, and and being friendly and being interested, you know, and just being genuine. But as I say, just be honest with people. And as I say, you know, and Chris, when people say, what's the market going to do? I said, well, I can't look into a crystal ball, you know. But all I know is what's happening right now at this time. And I think, I don't know for you guys, but we are really big on the auction business here, and more so than ever now is where, you know, I'll be pushing that business, because people want to get things done. Yep. They really want to get things done in an unconditional situation. Yes. So, and that's what we're doing. We've got plenty of business lined up for the next wee while. So awesome. I wish you guys all the best, and I will love to come and visit you in person one day. It's the only, I cannot believe I haven't been to South Africa. I'd love to speak to you all in person one day. So I would love to do that in the near future.
Oh, that will be so wonderful, Alison. You are so welcome in South Africa. We would love to have you, and we would love to show you around. It's such a wonderful country. It's such a diverse country. You know, as you travel across South Africa, you will find that each of the different regions has its special appeal, and it's such a diverse and culturally rich country. So please come and visit us. We would love to meet you. We would love to meet you in person. Sure. So this was really a wonderful chat. I think we're not going to do any Q's and A's, because I want us to leave it here. But I want to thank you so much for your time today and giving us a little bit more insight into Alison Aitken, or Ali, and your business and the time that you spend in real estate. It was lovely chatting to you, and on behalf of all of us in South Africa, we wish you continued success and navigating yourself through the rest of the lockdown until things come back to normal again, or the new normal, as we call it. And just lots of happiness, great success, and enjoy the rest of enjoy your evening. It's late afternoon, almost evening now. I imagine it's almost supper time. So thank you very, very much for your time.
No, hey, all the best. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if any of you guys want to know anything, just any questions, just flick me an email. Happy to help them. No problem at all. You know, anytime.
That is so kind of you. So kind of you, Alison. All right, look after yourself.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Ciao.
Thanks again so much for your time. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.